We both have training in sex therapy, so we get to start with a leg up in terms of creativity and
A leg
open-mindedness.
up. Oh my God.
Oh, that was an interesting choice.
Welcome back, every bendy body, to the Bendy Bodies podcast with your host and founder, Dr. Linda Bluestein, the Hypermobility MD. I am so excited to introduce you to Melissa Dickinson and Tom Query. This amazing couple are both counselors and therapists. I met them in Las Vegas in 2017 at the EDS Society conference and had dinner with them. They are just incredible people. They are so knowledgeable. Melissa has EDS and has been through the ringer. She's going to share with you so many experiences that she's had and how their relationship started out with some really surprising revelations. I think you're going to find this conversation really helpful, whether you're a caregiver or an EDS patient or you have some other role. Melissa Dickinson is a licensed professional counselor specializing in neurodiversity, gender affirmation, trauma, and chronic illness. She and her husband, Tom, created the Wellspring Counseling, Coaching, and Transition Center in Atlanta, which is a collection of highly skilled and talented professional counselors and changemakers. Melissa is the founder and executive director of the Georgia EDS and Hypermobility Network with over 1,500 members. Tom Query worked 35 years as a licensed professional counselor and director of several mental health centers and one stateside disability agency. He came to specialize in life changes, sexuality, and gender. Tom has a long history of working with crisis and grief. He was one of the first mental health professionals deployed to New York immediately after 9/11. He has been a teacher, trainer, and ally for a wide range of marginalized groups. He is also an ordained minister, though he says he carries his collar in his back pocket. Earlier in his career, he was a professional magician. I am so excited about chatting with Melissa and Tom today. I think we all know that navigating relationships with chronic illnesses like Ehlers-Danlos syndromes and hypermobility spectrum disorders is very challenging. So I'm really thrilled to chat with them and get some tips that all of us can benefit from. As always, this information is for educational purposes only and is not a substitute for personalized medical advice. Stick around until the very end so you don't miss any of our special hypermobility hacks. Here we go. I am so excited to finally get to chat with Melissa and Tom. And how are you guys doing today?
Well,
Good.
Doing great. Glad to be here.
Good. Oh, I'm so glad to finally get to sit down and chat with you both. And I'm going to start with you, Melissa. Can you describe how you ventured into dating Tom in terms of when and how you revealed anything about your medical problems?
Well, when I first met Tom and we were getting a little closer and started dating, I actually didn't know what the family mystery illness was yet. I just knew that something ran in our family, so that a couple of dates in, I said something like, "My family has a quirky series of medical issues. I just wanted to give you a heads up, and if I learn more about that, I'll tell you more about it." Fast forward in time, it was actually after we married that we learned that I had Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. After we went on our honeymoon and I had a Cipro exposure that rapidly accelerated my health decline, got in front of a pain management doctor trying to find options after I subluxed my neck. And when I got in front of them, they happened to be very familiar with EDS, immediately noticed I was moving in ways that I shouldn't be able to do, and referred me to genetics. So we came back from my honeymoon where I had my first 2 subluxations walking my dog down the sidewalk, and within 6 months realized I had a genetic illness that we were going to have to adapt to. So I kind of hoodwinked him by accident.
she was in a wheelchair by then.
Wow. So things changed very quickly, it sounds like.
Yes, Cipro was an abrupt acceleration.
Wow. And I know a lot of people asked when I was telling them that I was gonna be speaking with both of you. They wanted to know, like, what would you recommend to other people in terms of when it's a good time to reveal this kind of information?
Mm. I've done a lot of thinking about that. And if I had known earlier on, I probably would have timed that with the second date. If we're talking to somebody that was important to me and the first date went well, the second date may include a statement like, I'm aware that I have a chronic illness and wanted to go ahead and disclose that. And if we start spending a lot of time together, then I will start inviting questions so that you can learn more about that and assess for yourself if you want to continue this journey together.
I think that's such a great way to put it. And Tom, did you hesitate at all due to the challenges that Melissa had? And of course, the timing sounds like it was really interesting and that, this honeymoon is like, oh boy.
She
That
she had already tricked me into marrying her. I was already locked in,
Somehow he stuck around.
but from early on, I had no hesitation of saying, "Whatever this is, we'll get through it together."
that's amazing. And I know there's already going to be people going, I need to find a Tom. Where can I find one? I'm anticipating getting messages like this. I'm sure Melissa, you hear this all the time.
I
Um,
do.
Tom, what has been the hardest part of being Melissa's partner when it comes to EDS?
Instantly is watching her be in severe pain or whatever is going on at the moment, and I have nothing that I can do to help her. That is absolutely the most difficult. I feel so impotent. I just sit there, and it is so hard to watch when she is having difficulties. So that's absolutely the hardest part.
And in terms of what do you and other caregivers try to do to cope with your partner's EDS and other health problems, especially as you yourself may have your own health problems? What do you recommend?
And yes, I do have some significant health problems. And honestly, when we married, Melissa was going, I'm going to be taking care of you as you age. She really did say that and expected that. And when it flipped, she didn't like that. With the caregivers, when people come into our caregiver group, they're new, they don't know much about EDS. They are really struggling with, are they just lazy? Are they making this up? Is this psychiatric? They come in with these intense questions and panic about it. And we try to do a lot of early education about what to expect, that it isn't, she's not ever going to get better, those kind of things. Uh, and that is what we want people to have, is the data. If they have that, then they can kind of know what to expect. When we get on each month, we pretty much say, what's the worst thing that happened this month? And we'll babble about whatever that was. And then we'll go, oh God, we really understand that. And maybe here's what I did when that happened or whatever. If nothing else, it's just saying, I really understand how tough this is. Most of us lost the lives we wished we had had when this happened. That's for Melissa and me.
Mhm.
We had to put all of our dreams on hold. And that's probably another one of the more difficult ones that I hear from a lot of the caregivers is, what do we do now? Melissa was a hiker. We used to love to go out in the mountains. We just recently we could do that again, and she may tell you why. But um, I we just try to give people enough data so that they know what is going on.
Yeah, and I think, dealing with that loss, right? Because I mean, life for anyone, EDS or not, life is a series of losses,
Mm.
whether it's, actual deaths or, health problems where you can no longer do the things that you used to be able to do. I think that's it's great that you run this group so people can talk and share their experiences. And I bet they find that really helpful.
I jotted down the word when I was thinking about this for you, and it's the word impermanence. It just
Mm,
seems like nothing is permanent. Everything is impermanent. Everything in life is that way.
mhm.
And so those are some skills that a lot of us don't get taught growing up. in our families of origin or faith communities. And that sense of being able to deal with things turning badly is something we all have to do, just like you said.
And Melissa, I'm dying to hear how you were able to hike, more recently.
Last year, I had the good fortune to get in with Sunil Patel and get tethered cord surgery. It
In
had
South
been
Carolina.
in South Carolina. It had been missed by every clinician I'd ever consulted on my spine. They saw it instantly. It was actually a pretty severe case. I was probably born with tethered cord, we now
Mm,
know, and we suspect I have 3 other relatives with it at this point.
mm.
And it was choking my ability to walk and to manage my CSF fluid, and I had intracranial hypertension as a result of those issues. But that surgery, within 3 days, when I was finally allowed to get up off the table and move, I never stopped walking from that point. I now walk every day for exercise, and it's not like, I'm cured or I have no issues, but there is something very special about getting a part of you back that you lost over 10 years ago. And
Yeah.
the ability to walk in the sunshine and take in the fresh air and rely on my legs more than I have been able to in a long time has been a really good emotional experience for me and given me some confidence that this story can continue to evolve.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear that incredible, story, and I'm so happy for you to have that great outcome. So we released an episode recently where I interviewed Dr. Petra Klinge, who is obviously also very well known. Yes, she's amazing, for her work in tethered cord, release surgery, in particular, occult tethered cord, which, right, doesn't show up on imaging. And when I shared that episode on social media, I had so many people respond, I'm her patient. She operated on me. I'm doing so great. And it was so great to see all of that, because obviously some surgeries are, you can still have a good outcome, but the risk benefit ratio is a little bit, less optimal. So for tethered cord, it
Right.
seems like that's definitely one of those surgeries that can make a huge difference for people. This is not medical advice for any particular person, of course, but I appreciate you sharing that story, and we'll link that particular episode also in the show notes so people can check that out.
The
Excellent.
hard part of that is that it took, was it 3 years or 2 years to get in to have them
Yeah, it
look?
was about 3 years to
Mhm.
get in, and I'm so glad that I had, reserved my space in line because I never thought I would get through and wasn't sure it would be helpful, and obviously, it has been transformative for me. It was worth it.
Yeah, I tell my patients that if they feel like or if I feel like they may need to see a neurosurgeon either because they have craniocervical instability, atlantoaxial instability, tethered cord, etcetera. That's what you said about keeping your place in line. I say, get in line now because, the lines can be pretty long and you don't want to wait until that you really, really know. And you can always, if it gets to be your turn and you can always say, I can hold off a little bit or something if you're unsure. But so, Melissa, you were talking about, wow, the highs and lows, and of course, the impermanence. I think is a really interesting way to look at this because it definitely is impermanent. But there are sometimes things like the tethered cord surgery, or sometimes we find the right, key to go in that lock to actually improve someone's symptoms. So things can wax and wane in that regard. But I'm sure you've had plenty of difficult chapters of your health, your life, your relationships. What keeps you going during those difficult times?
Well, there's several things that keep me going. I run a large support group for people with EDS in Georgia. We now have 1,600 members,
Wow.
and I've been doing that for over a decade, really devotedly. I put about 20 hours a week in addition to my full time job into that community.
Wow.
And what really motivates me is when we started with 4 people and very and only 4 clinicians in my entire state that did any work with EDS at all. And we had a lot of loss of life because of the poor resources in our state. And we have come so far that we now have 1,600 members. We have over 200 providers that work with us in the state of Georgia, despite an urgent need to keep growing care for us in the state. And when I think about how that loss of life scenario has evolved to people living longer, people getting better, people stabilizing earlier on in the onset of their illness, it is so motivating to see how much we've been able to change already. So that kind of, when I get stuck in my own stuff and I'm worried about my own health, that's one of the things I remember is how far we've already come. And I believe that we can even do more. Also, I lean into my own therapy. It's been really important for me to keep up with my own therapeutic work as a therapist, to, manage my emotional well-being as best I can. And also leaning into the people that I love that love me back, and doing some of the sweet connection things in everyday life that are often so accessible and that we undervalue because they're so immediate. But getting a hug, cuddling with my puppy Ollie, and our very feisty cat, and long walks in the sunshine, and just tuning into what's working in my life can help me hold the whole scope, so that I'm not only focusing on the pain and the suffering.
We have a set of friends that literally, and EDS is part of their relationship too.
Mm.
And uh, Melissa can be in the worst possible shape. I mean, bad. And the same thing with Jules. And so we'll say, we're coming in, it's incoming and it ain't good, and they don't care. And we can be in our worst places and get together. They may still be wearing their pajamas. That's okay.
Mhm.
Mhm. We have definitely had pajama hangouts with other EDSers where we just honor that we all need connection and support and make it easy, and relatable.
That's amazing, and I love how you're talking about appreciating the small things because I think it can be very easy for us to forget about the small things, and again, whether you have EDS or not, so much of this is relevant for everybody, right? But it's especially important when we have something that is so complex and affects so many different parts of our body, and, so I think that's great that you have other people in your network that you can, uh, rely on, lean on when you need to.
Mhm. We're very fortunate that way.
Mhm. And I'm sure there's people listening right now who are saying, "Now wait a minute, how does she work full time? And also" I know I'm gonna get questions about that.
And she is an anomaly, in the group, in the larger group. There's not that many people that, work like she does.
So, I have several things that worked in my favor to make this possible that I'm aware are not accessible to most people in my position. So, first and foremost, I got clear early on that the family had a mystery illness. So, I was headed toward private practice where I could own myself as quickly as possible
Mhm,
professionally. And that ended up being a good move. Up to and even including making sure that I had an accessible building to work from long term. So, putting those things in place early when I was very disabled, couldn't walk well, were incredibly important to me being able to have options like this. And I would never be pulling this off successfully without the support of a partner who's in the same field and can back me up and physically help me out when I run into scenarios that are getting in the way of me being able to do what I need to do. So it makes me look like I have it all together. This is a carefully crafted image that I openly disclose to all of my clients what's really true in the background of this, because I do support a lot of EDSers professionally. And I don't want them to get the idea that this is I'm just that strong or I'm just made different. I'm not. I've got all the same problems everybody else does. The difference is I have a higher level of support at home and at work than average. And I have a lot of personal control over how my day goes, and I plan it very thoughtfully, up to and including taking meds in between sessions and doing things that I need to do to keep my body openly, and normalizing it in front of clients. So that's why this is working.
Just recently, she actually had to do all of her sessions laying down on her couch. And I jokingly said, "We're just going back to the Freudian era. We're gonna go back and have people lay down and do the sessions."
Except I'm doing it in reverse, where I'm
Right,
laying
right. I was gonna say you're gonna lay down, and then you're gonna have the client also lay down, so you're both laying down. And
but because I treat a lot of chronic illness people, whether or not they have EDS, it also makes it easier for them to be themselves when they show up.
Being able to control the environment, our building is gluten-free, it is handicapped accessible, it is, we don't use any cleaners that can take you out, we don't have scented candles. Controlling the environment is really, really important for Melissa's well-being.
I wanna back up. You said your building is gluten-free?
I have my mast cell activation disorder is a little bit over the top. It's probably at a higher level than a lot of EDSers in severity. Uh, Gluten airborne can put me into anaphylaxis. So I refuse to give up my right to be in the world. So I just arranged a world where I could be very free to be who I am. And it inadvertently made it very safe for other people like me to be here. And I've got a really loyal group of other therapists here that have no problem with the fact that I'm made a little bit differently. And it's ended up being a wonderful setup for all of us.
That's great. I literally recorded a solo episode recently, and I talked about fragrances and how, I had a patient who was on a plane, and she said the flight attendant walked past her and didn't notice anything out of the ordinary, but then, 10 minutes later, she comes out of the bathroom just like, reeking of this perfume, and she had an anaphylactic attack in the air, in the plane. Fortunately, she has an EpiPen, and she was able to, self-medicate, but and it worked in her case. But, we know that for a lot of people, that is a huge problem. So it's I'm so happy for you that you were able to work that out. That's great.
Particularly with doctor's offices, so many of them use so many fragrances,
Right.
they just have to learn this.
Yeah, absolutely. And we met in 2017 for the first time in person at the EDS Society conference in Las Vegas, and then again in 2018 at the EDS Society conference in Baltimore. So, without revealing any particulars of Melissa's health, I can say that she is not exaggerating anything. So, yeah,
And for that Baltimore one, we couldn't find any restaurants around that could meet her criteria, and so we had shipped in a refrigerator uh, a one
Microwave.
burner thing so that we could make our own food in the world because there was just no way. Las Vegas was bad too, real bad.
yeah, I'm sure Las Vegas was also bad. Yeah, yeah. Wow. Incredible. Yeah, I'll never forget that first time I met you guys, at a dinner, and it was just I was like, "Oh my gosh, these are 2 really amazing people. I need to figure out how to spend more time with them."
Felt
So,
the same about you.
thank
Definitely.
you. Oh, thank you. Okay, and so Tom, what have been the toughest issues and barriers regarding your relationship and EDS?
Uh, it it, it hasn't been easy on either of us with all of the challenges, and, particularly when it comes to, intimacy and those kind of things, we've had to find workarounds,
Mhm.
to make all that work for us, and it's very limited And I don't say that, and I'm not bitter about it at all. It just is what it is, and we keep trying to find ways to add little things to our work, to what we do with each other. I think both of us truly delight in each other most of the time, and we're both really strange and weird, and so we kind of have that um, there. We're both extremely stubborn, and if we're like two mules on a one-lane bridge, it is really tough. Somebody's going to have to move, and we don't listen to each other real well all the time. We found out later that it has to do with her neurodiversity, and I will say blue, and she will hear orange, and it just is the way it is. Um, and uh, One of the things Melissa did early on was, and she got this from, I think, her therapist at that time, where we named EDS, Ehlers-Danlos, Ed. And Ed is our uninvited, unwelcome guest who is in our home all the freaking time. And so we blame Ed, we cuss Ed, we go, damn it, Ed. Excuse me, don't know if you can say that, but Ed.
You can say that. It's okay.
Okay, all right. Uh, uh,
Absolutely.
uh, so, and then with our conflicts, we are not unlike any other couple. Particularly, people think therapists have it all together, and please do not believe that.
No,
Uh,
not at
we
all.
we do not. There is a reason why we're therapists. My joke is that I became a therapist because it was the only way I could afford it, and we so that's not it. But we have a lot of support and help, and it is not all pretty and easy, and we have very difficult times, just like every other couple, and we get stuck, um, and we try to find ways of getting over those stuck places with each other. Melissa, you may want to tell more.
I loved your description. That made me really giggle inside. We're definitely like every other couple in that we're super normal. We have the usual fights that every couple has where we're struggling to hear each other and understand where we're coming from. We did learn that I was very neurodivergent along the way, and that we were miscoding each other. So we've had this fun ride in the past couple of years where we're trying to decode ourselves for each other because it's not automatic and we cannot assume that we're understanding where each other is coming from. In fact, if we assume it all, we're probably way off course. So that's been a real education to go back and unpack what we thought we knew about each other and correct assumptions. And around intimacy, it has been, I like to think of this as kind of an ever evolving journey. We both have training in sex therapy. So we get to start with a leg up in terms of creativity and open
A leg
mindedness.
up. Oh my God.
Oh, that was an
That was
interesting choice.
that was
Um,
My using a cuss word has just been taken away. You did it.
yep.
Okay.
Oh, that
Uh,
was that was perfect. That was
that was
perfect.
beautiful. So I like to treat it as an adventure. And whenever we're trying to be close with each other, we're usually really motivated. I'll sort of do a really quick sketch for Tom on this is like my body status right here. Here's what I feel like I'm up for. Here's what I don't think will work today with how things are playing out in my body. And I treat it as an adventure that's never going to be the same. It doesn't
Mm,
matter what's happening in our lives. This part of our lives is constantly evolving because your body's just not in the same place every day. And
mhm.
it's worth it to be open minded and see what's possible. And it has allowed us to be together more than we would have otherwise.
I was going to say also that with a lot of people with their histories and backgrounds, if there is any kind of sexual abuse or abuse in general and backgrounds, that affects all of that, just like it does all of
Yeah.
us. We have said that almost every time we get together intimately, it's almost like the first time because it's never the same. It is always trying to work around something that goes on. And just like with normal couples, The biggies, are finances, in-laws, and I've forgotten what else, but finances are a big thing that is because Ed takes a huge hit on everything about how our life works. And we both worry about being able to work long enough to keep paying for this kind of thing. So that's just like every other couple. We'll have fights over money. We'll have fights over in-laws. And it's just normal.
Okay. Well, we are going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to talk more about this intimacy and dealing with the tough times and how you get your needs met and all kinds of other topics. But we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. This episode of the Bendy Bodies podcast is brought to you by EDS Guardians, paying it forward in the Ehlers-Danlos syndromes community, patient to patient for the common good. I am proud to serve on the inaugural board of directors for EDS Guardians, a small charity with a big mission and a big heart. Now seeking donors, volunteers, and partners. Patient advocacy and support programs available now. Travel grants launching in 2025. Learn more, shop for a cause at their swag store, and join the revolution at edsguardians.org. Thank you so much for listening to Bendy Bodies. We really appreciate your support. It really helps the podcast when you like, subscribe, and comment on YouTube and follow, rate, and review on all audio platforms. This helps us reach so many more people and spread the information to everyone. Thank you so much again, and enjoy the rest of the episode. Okay, we are back with Melissa and Tom and getting some good chuckles here over the leg up comment. Love that. So, in terms of intimacy, I'm sure there's some people listening to this and they're thinking, oh my gosh, this all sounds great, but I don't have sex therapy as part of my background. I've never talked with my partner, even though we've been together for a really long time. We've never actually talked about sex. We've never talked about intimacy in a way that is actually productive or can actually open the door to other types of interactions. So I've interviewed a couple of urologists lately on this show. And so we've been talking about, what is it? It's PIV, penis in vagina sex. Like people often think when they think of sex, they think of that's all they think of, right? So, but there's obviously lots of other ways to be intimate. So if somebody's having difficulty bringing this up or having this kind of conversation with their partner, do you have some tips for ways to start these conversations?
I can maybe start us off here. One of the things that I think really forms a good basis for conversations about sex, and I know a lot of people find themselves nervous entering into those conversations, is going back to basics like consent. If you can sit down with a potential partner or a current partner and have a good quality consent conversation about what you feel safe and comfortable including in intimacy with each other, that often leads to being able to have other more sensitive conversations when other issues arise. So there's really great information on social media and with a quick Googling on how to have great consent conversations around sexuality with a partner. And if you can start there, it opens the door for having more detailed and intuitive conversations with each other over time about areas of sex that are opening up for you or issues that are coming up as part of the process. Tom, I'm sure you have some to add here.
Well, the thing I want to say right off the front is I actually don't think we're any different than chronically normal people with this. I think that I know very few couples that actually know how to have a conversation about sex at all. And they do reduce it to just PIV, and that's all they think about. And there's all the senses that we can use, and you start finding out what it is that works for you. I'm sure I'll have to dig it up. There's actually a inventory that talks about, would you like this? Would you like this? Would you like
Mm.
this? Would you be interested? Absolutely not, or curious. And I think something like that, to sit down and have a conversation with somebody about what is okay. This is also one of the places where there's a lot of loss. and it is okay to grieve that together, and find ways to, that may be the entryway to talk about sexual stuff, is about the losses,
Mm.
and about what you can't do. And it is true. We have very simple things that we can use. We are not swinging from the rafters. We are not doing strange stuff at all because we can't.
Right.
And so I think people realizing that this is not just about having illness. I've worked with disability populations, not EDS, in my career, and this was always one of the workshop topics: is how do you have sex as a transgender person? How do you have sex as a person with developmental disabilities? It is in every community I've ever worked at, including church. That is nobody talks about it, and we have to. And I've learned that people in general are very open to talking about it if they don't feel like they're going to be judged in any way.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And if that can be created, a sense of I am not going to get mad at you, but please tell me what works and what doesn't, and what you wish for. One thing that I don't know almost any couples that do talk about their fantasies. Almost no one talks about their fantasies.
Mm.
It's taboo. And
Mhm.
but they can really give us some hints at what we might be able to use as modifications to make things work.
Also, I wanted to include really quickly for those of you that don't have sex therapy backgrounds, there's a wonderful online resource that is very affordable and most of the services are free called O School. I highly recommend it. They make it really easy and relatable to watch short videos to get really good information about sexuality and to dispel common myths that end up hurting us when we're trying to have conversations with a lover. So, if you just want a place to start, Google O School, dig around a little bit, get yourself some access to information that's pretty high quality and easy to understand.
I love that, and we will definitely add a link to that in the show notes so people can access that. Um, I also have to say that I was chuckling, Tom, as you were talking about Ed, because I'm married to a urologist, and not that it would be different otherwise, but when I saw that you had put in a couple of questions and had Ed, I thought of ED, and I thought, "Oh, they're just referring to EDS as ED."
Nope, we
So
literally mean that.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
Wh-
It's
When
our
when when
roommate.
Melissa says EDS to people, that actually pops up pretty quickly. They think that's what we're talking about, and
Uh-huh.
that gets you into a conversation real quick about stuff. So
Right, right. Oh, that's funny. When you said that, I was like, "Oh, okay, that's why he used Ed or ED." Okay, that's funny, that's funny.
Mhm.
Um, there was some submitted questions for you, Tom, and one of them was, "We have heard you say that living with someone with EDS is both difficult and rewarding. What do you mean by that?"
what's difficult and rewarding? What is difficult, I said earlier, and that is watching her in pain and not being able to do anything about it. It is so hard. And we try to keep our repertoire up about, she'll often say, because she gets brain fog and can't think clearly, she'll say, please tell me what I do with this. And look, that's one of the things I feel like I can do, is remind her of the things that we have learned over the years. Um, the other big difficulty has been able to find, medical help, people that actually will talk to her, believe her. Early on, she was not having any success at all with any of the doctors she was talking to, and she started taking me with her, to all of her doctor's appointment, and it just having me, this old cis white male sitting in the corner, um, and gave her credibility. It just infuriates me, but or they would look, she'd say something and they'd look at me and I'd go, yep, that's true.
Mhm.
And it just changed everything. So that has been a very frustrating part, being able to find help, uh, them believe her and move on, those kind of things. I, the thing I love most being around Melissa is how much, I enjoy her. She's an extraordinarily intelligent and strong human who has this warrior spirit. I say to her all the time, I couldn't do it. I could not take the amount of stuff that you're and keep going on. And I'm really mean that. And so I look at her with awe and realizing the difficulties that she's having all the time. The difficulty for me has to do with the caregiving, and that is not being able to step away uh, at any given time to take a break, to go to a movie, to have dinner with a friend, to just go walk around by myself. I have a very difficult time saying, I need time out. I need time out for me.
Mhm.
And when the caregivers get together, that's one of our refrains is that we are not good at that. And so a lot of our meetings are about trying to figure out a way to do that better. And so asking for what I need with watching a person in the condition she's in, that's hard, really hard.
Yeah, and that was one of my questions that we'll go ahead and get to next, how you do balance each of you getting your needs met because, of course, you both have needs.
I, I, when I thought about that early on, the first thing I wrote was, we don't know yet. We're still working on that, on how to get that balance. Because Melissa doesn't get enough time alone either, and enough time with friends, and enough time. Neither of us get what we need, and Ed again uh, makes it so hard for us to be able to take time for ourselves and do that. And I guess that's what I'm saying is the individual time we both need. That's really hard because we actually work in the same building. We're together almost all the time, and 80% of the time I love that. But both of us, I think, would like some time doing other things.
What about you, Melissa? What do you think are some keys to getting both of your needs met?
Well, it's definitely something that we're both trying to get better at.
Mhm.
But I'm so conscious that as a caregiver that he has trouble stepping away, that I try to do what I can to carve out some space for him to get a breather. Uh, I think a lot of us who have a loving relationship with a partner who supports us with caregiving uh, offerings, we sort of have this attunement to when they're getting really, really fried or burned out. And so, one of the things that I try to do for him is ask him if he is going to need a nap this weekend. Can we carve out that space? When he has things scheduled that are for him, like support groups that he's a part of independently for his own work or the group of guys that he meets with every month, some of those things that are really important to him being well rounded and having his needs met. I try to protect those spots as best I can so that he can have those opportunities. It's a little bit more complicated for me. Working full time has a cost for me as an EDSer in that I need at least one day each weekend to have a lot of recovery time.
Mhm.
And I notice that when I don't give myself enough recovery time that I start digging a hole. So I have to
Mhm.
factor that in on some level. And that ends up being my frontline self-care for me. But that also means that I'm trying to figure out how to balance my family, friends, and those relationships. And that gets really hard to work in and takes a lot of additional support to pull off. So we don't always get there, but it's a high priority, and Tom really supports me in getting access to those things when I set them up.
So one of the points of that is that it almost can never be spontaneous. We have to plan, and those plans can get thwarted by Ed. But we try to book out where we're going to be doing some of these kind of things. I think a really good example, Melissa, of this is food. I end up being the person who primarily cooks. Uh, it started that way because she can't lift anything over 2 or 3 pounds without dislocating it. So, and then you can't bend down to do the dishwasher, and you can't do this. Those are super practical things. Going to the grocery store was almost impossible early on
Mhm.
for her, and so we ended up. I ended up doing that. Now that's very wearisome. I don't regret. I'm not upset about it, but if cooking every night, as most partners know, it can be very difficult. And she has lately been really trying to change our kitchen. We bought a dishwasher that was higher up that she can reach into. She's bought pans that she can lift. She's looking for recipes that she can create herself with a lot of stuff. And she's trying to give me a night off a week or 2 nights off a week.
Mhm.
That is very loving to me.
Mhm.
And I think it also helps her because I don't think she likes being cooked for all the time. Uh, may, maybe I could be a better cook, but I don't think that's all of what that's about. I think she wants some of her life back.
Mhm.
Mhm. I, actually, Tom's an excellent cook. He doesn't give himself credit. It's really delicious food. But I think there's something to be said for having agency in your own life. So whenever I
Mhm.
have an opportunity to start investing in recapturing a space, even if
Mhm.
it's just a small one, it really feels worth my time to put in the planning and the thought to give it a go. And I've had a couple of successes lately, and some of the things that I researched and came up with have been promising and working for me. So we're a little optimistic that I might be able to get more agency in the kitchen.
Let me take two more seconds to be really honest with everybody. Is that her gut doesn't work? She has really poor gut motility, and she doesn't get nutrition out of normal food. So 2 of her meals in a day have to be an all sole source shake. That is what because I can't. We tried. I can't cook food that gets into her system good enough.
Mhm.
So this one meal a night, usually dinner, that I'm cooking is she doesn't actually get all the benefit out of it either. And sometimes it really causes problems. And my joke is she's allergic to everything but air and water. And when you get into food with that, it's really hard. And then it
Mhm.
changes. Ed comes
Yep.
in,
Yep.
takes it away. She's Italian by background. She can't do cheese and milk, and it's crazy. Anyway,
Yes, that is a part of our journey. So I'm learning how to cook for myself because I want to experience the pleasure of flavors. And to me, anytime that you give yourself access to pleasure as someone with chronic illness and a lot of pain, it's a win. And I love tasting things that are delicious, whether or not they nourish me. I make very sure that I use quality medical nutrition recommended by my EDS GI doc to keep me going and resourced, and it has been transformative. I don't get nourished by regular food because my my GI system doesn't absorb well unless things are already pre-broken down.
Mhm.
It's made a big difference in my life, and I feel like the flavors that are all around me are worth it. And I get to experience joy just like anyone else when I taste something that's really wonderful. So if you're ever in a position like I'm in, don't give up on flavor. Make sure you give yourself some pleasure, whether or not it's the way you sustain yourself.
and that's intimacy, us figuring that out together.
Yeah, that's a great analogy there as well. And I want to come back to the neurodivergence that was mentioned at one point, and also the going to appointments and having someone else there. I will say, having been on both sides of the equation, being a physician and seeing patients, but also, being a patient myself, I think that part of that too is if you have a person that comes in just by themselves, you're just seeing that one person and you're not seeing them as part of a unit of some sort. So if they come in with a partner or a friend or some other person, it gives you more context. So I think that, even if you're listening to this and you're like, "But I don't have a Tom to take with me to my appointments," if you have someone else for a second set of ears, and yes, there's definitely some judging that goes on, and, so that's, challenging there, but I think that having that second person can often be really helpful. And when it comes to the neurodivergence, piece, do either of you have tips? Because I'm sure a lot of people too listening to this are going to say, well, my spouse is neurodivergent and I have difficulty figuring out how to communicate with them because of that.
I'm still figuring this one out. We literally only learned this in the last year, and it has completely changed how I look at Melissa, believe it or not. I have so much more compassion, whereas before I just thought she was being a problem. It actually wasn't. It actually was some of this, and so it's given me another frame of reference to look at her. We're both doing a lot of study on, particularly, high functioning autistic women, which we believe she fits into, and so I think I'm still in a learning curve on it, but it has made a huge difference in terms of some of our fights and some of the ways we get out of it. Because I will well, she here's one little example. She'll start repeating things over and over and over again, and I'm going, "I heard you." Uh, but what she is needing from that is something for me to give her compassion, empathy, a sense of understanding it before she can close that. And so those fights would go on and on and on because I wasn't being able to give her back, and she'd say it again. So I that is just a mini example of that, Melissa.
Yeah. Oh, it's been such an interesting journey with this. So I am autistic and have ADHD, so I'm that combo that's so common in the EDS community.
Mhm.
I am on the high functioning side. I also have another form of neurodivergence in that my IQ is remarkable in some ways, and that also has like a degree of separation that I have to navigate with other humans to make sure that I'm getting heard correctly and understood. So, my tendency as someone that is neurodiverse is to be very, very direct. And I know in
Mm.
our culture, especially in the South, direct is not always valued. But for clarity, for clarity, it feels really important to me to be very factual in my communication with other people. And I'm aware that others that are not neurodiverse, want a lot of like softness and
Mm.
Mm.
indirect
Feelings,
statements as part.
emotions.
Yes. Oh, feelings and emotions, as long as they're not directly stated, like saying, as a neurodiverse person, if I say I am sad, people will not believe me, even though that is a very true statement. Or if I
Mhm.
say I am mad, they'll, it's just something about being neurodiverse and saying the same thing another person would say doesn't go the same in a room, especially in the Southeast where we
Right.
live.
Bless her heart.
Yes, yes, a lot of that. But I'm very educated in the things that I know about, and I have some. I have once Tom started going with me to appointments, it was very helpful because all he had to say in front of a new provider is, "Yes, I've witnessed that." I have credibility with all of those providers now, and I have a great dialogue with all of them. Now we have long term trusting relationships with these providers where we have latitude to explore new ideas together. And it just took, unfortunately, in the Southeast, another voice to just echo that I was legitimate. And as soon as I was legitimized, I was able to advocate for myself pretty well. But and and I think that it's been interesting that my work drew a lot of autistic and ADHD people to me, in
Mm.
addition to EDS.
Mhm.
And it took me having a practice that was 80% neurodiverse before I started to catch on
That maybe you were.
that perhaps I was. And further education and information and conversations with other providers were really enlightening. And I now understand a lot more about kind of how I experience the world, and which is not always the same as the
Mhm.
way other people experience it. So I like being neurodiverse. I'm a lifelong nerd. My interests make me very happy. So I can really be comfortable on my own and enjoy a lot of solo activities. And I that also means a lot of my friends in the EDS community are neurodiverse, and we have a wonderful time being our weird little selves together, and it's delightful.
We have watched every episode of all the versions of Star Trek, all of them.
That's
Awesome.
true.
Awesome. Okay. Well, we are going to have to wrap up soon, but I would like to give you some rapid fire questions that some of the listeners submitted because some of them are very interesting, and I really appreciate people submitting these questions because I know that they're opening themselves up, and I think these are like really important. So, the first question is, I'm going to direct this one to Tom. So, the first question is, what are some tips for air quotes, training a spouse to be a caregiver? Mine is awesome, but some people report that their loved ones treat them like they're lazy or dramatic.
I think I said in our caregivers group when we have a new person come in, that is a lot of them either come in saying I've lost who I loved or that they're lazy and whatever.
Mhm,
And so, first thing I would say is that you've got to get them to a caregivers group somewhere and somehow. The National EDS conference has a caregiver that I've been able to lead a couple times.
mhm,
The caregivers group, and there's like 200 people in there when we meet at that. Um, and so I think the education piece is the first bit of training. You really may need a therapist type person to help you navigate through that, somebody that understands this,
mhm,
which is hard to find.
mhm.
And I'm hoping that you've chosen somebody that is open to learning and changing and coming at it new. Like I said, every day is different for us. It is never the same way any given day. And so we have to roll and just try to kick Ed's butt as best we can. And even that little thing about Ed, it's helpful to give
Mhm.
that to somebody and realize that it's a third party. It's not
Right.
your partner. Your partner is not the illness. Your partner is not the problem. And I think just that basic understanding going into it, and then we can get creative with problem solving.
Sounds good. Okay, I like it. This question is for you, Melissa. What can you do when you worry that your partner will leave you for someone healthy, that your limitations are too much, or that no one would be interested in you?
Hmm. First of all, I have a lot of empathy for the person that is struggling with this question right now. I think it comes up a lot. I want to say to that human, it's not you that is dramatic or the problem. It's the circumstances that you're in. And it's a very normal and relatable worry to have concerns that other people might judge you unfairly for things that are designed as a part of you that you can't change. What I have come to believe over time is that there are a lot of people in this world that can love into really difficult and challenging circumstances. It's often our inability to believe that that's possible that holds us back from seeing those people in our lives. And if you are having trouble connecting with a partner at this time, I encourage you to open up to the friends in your life and family members and nurture those relationships and treat them as just as sacred and important as other romantic or partner style relationships, because that's the foundation of all good relationships. And if you spend time investing in those areas, then you may be able to see the people that can love you just as you are in the most challenging moments of your life and really feel good about being there with you.
We were talking about this not too long ago, and one of the things we were talking about is what pond you fish in, where you find people,
Mm.
is so critically important, and finding, people that are based on interests, is so much better than going through the swiping thing on the phone with apps.
Okay, so this next question is going to be for Melissa. And this might be similar to what I just asked, so we can skip through it pretty quickly if it is. I got sick as a young teen and have been mostly housebound since. It has been 27 years. I've never had any relationships or been on a date. It makes me really embarrassed. Do you have any advice?
Hmm. I really care that this person is experiencing some embarrassment around a dynamic that they may not have full control over. So I just want to say to you that you are very legitimate and have a rich dimensional life, no matter if you have ever had a date or someone has ever asked you out, you are a fully fledged person. The people in your life that you love are and spend time with are valuable relationships. So, just want to kind of focus on that. And if you really desire a partnership and that has not come together for you, sitting down with a therapist that offers low cost services and is accessible to you can be a great way to start investigating a soft launch, developing the skills to build confidence so that you can really show who you are to a person that you're interested in getting to know better. So if you find yourself in that spot, I really encourage you to open up to a relationship therapist who has some real skills development in their process. Interview them, and if it feels good, get started there. Because once you have a healthy relationship with a good therapist, you're probably ready for the next step.
Okay. This last question is for Tom. My husband and I have been together since high school, now 29 years. We have always been a 50-50 couple. We both worked and had split duties at home. In 2019, I lost my career and couldn't work. For a few years, I just took over duties at home. This worked wonderfully. However, in the last 18 months, since being hit with even more symptoms and now being fully disabled, this has completely changed our relationship dynamics. Now it's 90-10, with my husband doing 90% of everything, plus overtime at work and horrific out of pocket expenses. Not to mention the impact becoming disabled has had in the bedroom. We're lucky because we have a strong foundation, but we're struggling to find our places in this new dynamic. I struggle to ask for help. He obviously can't read my mind. Sometimes I don't even know what I need or have the ability in the moment to speak. How have you dealt with this?
Oh, that is such a good question. And the first thing I want to say is it sounds like you have a partner who is still with you, and that means something. Sometimes all the fun can get sucked out of life by this stuff that we're having to go through. And if he or she is committed to you, that is 90% of the issue. The rest of it is really technique and finding ways to communicate with each other. And for you to say, just like we were talking about food, for Melissa was saying, I've got to do, I can't do this. I need to do something differently. And us combine, see it as a problem that we're both working on, and the communication, I think, has to do with the whole level of everything you talked about. If you need help doing that, get with a therapist, and that can very gently help you guys talk to each other. It's actually, as a person who works with people, it's not that hard to do, to get them to actually start talking about what they really want from each other. It is hard. It is, especially with sexual stuff. It's really hard to talk about these things, and so getting some help. I don't recommend for most. Cis males saying, "Would you listen to this podcast or read this book?" That doesn't seem to work real well for a lot of them. But getting, again, kind of a inventory or questionnaire or something that says, "How do you feel about this? How do you feel about that?" Just to start the conversation would be really helpful. I know Melissa's her whole dream right now is to create an EDS center for Georgia, that would include all of these elements in one place where they could get to. And I think that, along with nutrition and some other stuff, as well as the medical, are things that are really needed in communities.
Yeah, and I was gonna ask about, we're gonna get to our hypermobility hack in just a minute, but I did wanna ask if either of you have some exciting projects that you're working on, things that you're excited about and wanna share with the listeners.
Well, we are very excited to launch we have a really big goal in the state of Georgia. There is an urgent need to have our own center of care for EDS in the state. We tried to partner with other hospitals and systems in order to get that going, and it, were not received well at that time. And we've done a lot of research and planning over the past decade, and we think we have a model that works, that's ready to go, and we just need donations to fund it. So we have a 501(c)(3) that is well established. Its exclusive purpose is to raise funds for an EDS center of care in the state of Georgia to serve our entire community. We have a lot of integrity around this goal because we have been serving this community with free services for all 1,600 members for over a decade
Mhm.
and have had really good outcome changes in terms of the health and well being of our members. So, if we can get quality services to them that don't take 2 years in our own state of waiting lists to get in for, then we can really change the scope of healthcare for EDSers in Georgia. So, we formed a nonprofit called Wellspring Nonprofit Corporation. Our website is Wellspring Giving. You can learn more. It's wellspringgiving.org. You can learn more about us there and the work that we've already done successfully and the goals that we have to fund a clinic in Atlanta, Georgia for all of us. So, if anything that you can do, even if you just share about our journey, or if you would like to donate, you would be participating in saving lives because our track record so far has been to go from losing a lot of EDSers due to poor healthcare outcomes in Georgia to being able to change that where a lot of people are living and thriving. And now we just want to get services timely and sooner in the course of illness so that everybody's got a shot at a happy, healthy journey long term with EDS. So if you can help us deliver on that dream, just check out our website and learn a little more about us and see how you can participate.
That's wonderful, and I will definitely put that link in the show notes, and as I mentioned earlier, I've known both of you since 2017, and so I have complete faith that you are working to put something together really, really amazing, that's gonna really benefit a lot of people, so I think sounds like a wonderful, wonderful cause, so
Thank you so much. We actually already have two clinicians ready to join the dream and dive in. So I think we have reasons for optimism.
that's great, that's great, and we always end every episode with a hypermobility hack, and in this case, I would like for us to, for each of you to give us a hypermobility hack. Tom, would you like to go first?
Uh, talking about these relationships and caregivers, I really think uh, trying to get some people together to have this same conversation we've had during this hour is really critically important. Uh, COVID took a whack at us, and we used to have in-person meetings, and we were able to kind of separate off into little groups to talk about some of this stuff.
Mhm.
We're just now getting back to that, and I'm looking forward to that because that is really where we caught a lot of the relational problems having. I also have this month I had another caregiver say I need to talk because I'm not doing okay. I'm sinking. I'm struggling, and I'm not being the person I want to be. And we've been doing some side talks. So finding people that are have the information or data you need. That's one.
Mine is a little bit more pragmatic. So, my hypermobility hack is I like to be out in the world despite having a lot of complicated body stuff like many EDSers do. So, I have a go bag that is always ready for a potential adventure that could come up so that if I do have the luxury of being spontaneous that day, I can say yes. It involves a rolly bag with a small little bag in between that has all of my meds that I might possibly need in a day, the ability to carry hydration with me, and the ability to roll it where I'm going without harming my shoulders and other vulnerable joints in my body. I've shown it to many of my clients over the years, and they're often impressed that I can just wing it so much. And I'm like, here is the system that I have developed that helps me do that. So I just want to encourage people to have fun with developing a go bag or something that has them resourced enough to have a few adventures in their life on a good day where they don't have to spend a lot of time prepping or planning ahead because they've already thought through their needs based on what they've already learned about themselves.
And I think that's smart because then you're not spending that energy trying to think of what all you need. You've already done that step, and now you can use your spoons or whatever analogy you want to use for the actual activity itself. So I think that sounds like a really good strategy. I like it.
Yay.
Awesome. Where can people learn more about each of you? Melissa, do you want to go first?
Sure. There's a couple ways to learn about me. My kind of the weird convergence of all the things that I am, you can find on LinkedIn. My therapy and coaching hat, you can look me up at melissadickinson.com. That's a really easy way to find out about my work there. And if you want to learn about the nonprofit side of my world, that is the wellspringgiving.org site that I mentioned. And if you want to see a little bit about our external facing EDS community that is so robust in Georgia and learn about them, the Georgia EDS Network is easy to find on Facebook, and we can provide links to that.
Okay, great. Tom?
TomQuery.com. Facebook is a good place to find me. And one of my loves is photography. And I'm
Mm,
hoping to post some of that to get something like the wellspringgiving.org up so I can share more of myself from that side.
wonderful. Okay. Well, I really appreciate both of you taking the time. I know that you're busy and, we all have only a certain amount of energy and time. And so it was so great that you took the time to chat with me. And I know that a lot of people are really going to feel inspired by this conversation and hopefully also have come away with a lot of tips for having better relationships, taking care of their own needs and balancing that with the needs of the other person in their house and also Ed.
Yes.
So thank
And
you
and
so
Linda,
much.
we want to thank you for what you do. You're invaluable to the community, and the amount of effort you do to try to reach people is just amazing. So thank you.
Absolutely. I'm aware that you donate a lot of your time and energy to the community and that we're all better for it. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate that. Well, I thoroughly enjoyed chatting with Melissa and Tom. They're such an amazing couple, and I love the fact that they're both therapists, so they've worked with a lot of other people. They have this incredible background of knowledge, but also these incredible lived experiences. So I hope that you enjoyed this conversation and found it as helpful as I did. And I want to thank you for listening to this week's episode of the Bendy Bodies with the Hypermobility MD podcast. You can help us spread the word about joint hypermobility and related disorders by leaving a review and sharing the podcast. This really helps raise awareness about these complex conditions. If you would like to dig deeper, you can meet with me one-on-one. Check out the available options on the services page of my website at hypermobilitymd.com. You can also find me, Dr. Linda Bluestein, on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, or LinkedIn at hypermobilitymd. You can find Human Content, my producing team, at Human Content Pods on TikTok and Instagram. You can find full video episodes up every week on YouTube at Bendy Bodies Podcast. To learn about the Bendy Bodies program disclaimer and ethics policy, submission verification and licensing terms, and HIPAA release terms, or to reach out with any questions, please visit bendybodiespodcast.com. Bendy Bodies Podcast is a Human Content production. Thank you for being a part of our community, and we'll catch you next time on the Bendy Bodies Podcast. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and leave a comment below. I love getting your feedback. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you will never miss an update. We've got plenty more exciting content coming your way. And if you're looking for more episodes, just click on one of the videos on the screen right now. Thanks again for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next episode.